It's 9 o'clock. This is the Gilliam County Court July 1st work session. And we're holding a work session on the Economic Enhancement Ordinance. The Economic Enhancement Ordinance is, of course, derived from waste management host fees. And it's to be used for economic purposes. It's been in place for almost 40 years. There's been many amendments over time, and this is a time we have set to discuss. We have an hour. We've talked about this a multitude of times. We have a proposal with each of our thoughts on this. Would you like to go ahead and each of us present our idea? How do you feel about that? Do you want to go first, Commissioner Watkins?
So I think I'm proposal number 3. I was using actually 5 million, but
yeah, I changed it to match. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm proposing is that if you can see that I zeroed out the homestead rebate and homestead endowment. I think the court, because since right now we have 47 million unappropriated and projecting 19 million in the economic enhancement. And I think we need to, of course, it won't come into effect till next July, but I think we need to make the rebate whole so that it sustains itself. And then we can be the court that actually got it there. And then I took the rest of that 14.5% and I just distributed it among the different things, and I added in.
Can I ask a question? Did you mean that on the homestead rebate, if the interest, for some reason, we had a drop in interest rate, that you could use the cash carryover to make it whole? Or you really weren't speaking to that?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
I wasn't. But I also was looking at the interest. I think I asked Brooke about where the interest figures came from. And she said they came from Nathan. But I used even just 4% interest. And the interest is probably just on the economic enhancement fund, probably about $700,000 short.
Yeah, right.
So, but anyway, I just kind of spread it around. I added your idea of the workforce development and I added the EMS services.
Okay.
And then just some of them I kept the projects the same. I upped the city of Arlington and Condon and Lone Rock. I lowered the early learning to 14%. I upped the general road a little bit with keeping in mind that the road department cannot use taxpayer funds. So, right. But one of the other areas that never get used is the waste or chem waste.
Yes.
Stuff. And that could be an area where we could boost the road department some too.
I agree. Yeah. Okay.
So basically, yeah, that's my spiel.
Okay. Commissioner Wilkins?
Yes, my proposal, I was trying to figure out a way to increase the cities also, but.
So which one are you?
Two.
Okay.
And, my thing here was to do away with the Early Learning Center endowment and make that Gilliam County child care. And I guess I should have put like licensed, but that was my thoughts.
You mean as far as just changing the name?
Yeah. And I bumped up the general road and the workforce housing. I just kind of combined that with economic development, workforce housing, business. and I don't know about, I know that workforce development is in some of these, but anyway, I left the north, south end the same, but I did, let me finish up on that. Economic development, housing, workforce, I did bump it up quite a bit. And my thought is the biggest thought is housing, is a huge thing. My thing shows the homestead, endowment still there. And I guess my thoughts on that are, this was really a good thing that was set up originally. And with current figures, I agree with Commissioner Watkins that it looks like we could maybe hold it with the interest that we make off that to make that, because it was 700,000, wasn't it, last year? That we paid to the taxpayers.
Were you referencing the entire, the endowment or the economic enhancement fund when you said 770? I think right now it will be one of the last pages.
But the now
Are you talking just about the?
You said, yes, you said 770, but that's if we add in, if we bring the homestead rebate endowment up to 16 million or 15 million, right?
Yeah, 15 or 16, I think is what we would have to bring it up to.
Yeah.
And then it would have a whole nother year of building, but right now, the interest.
The interest is
Yeah,
$510,000.
It's just not quite.
Right now.
Yeah.
But if you bring that amount of your interest distribution to it's gonna be better because you're distributing that interest between everything.
We would have to know what,
Well, and then that's assuming it's the same number of applications.
Yeah.
As the word spreads, or maybe our housing grows. We can
Well,
have more.
And my thoughts on that too, I mean, even like countywide, if 10 houses a year, that's 15,000 possibly extra.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I'm just strong that, I guess I really feel strongly that this is something that was started, it's good for the taxpayers and,
Mhm.
but, like I say, that,
you could do a transfer from your unappropriated to increase it and just lower that percentage to continue to put into to continue to build that endowment so that it doesn't, if you guys do see an increase in the next 5-10 years, that endowment is still growing. But
yeah, and
Because that was the original premise of the original court was to get that endowment to the point where it
Yeah.
took care
yeah,
of that.
Mhm.
And I think us as a court could do that. We could take care of that endowment with, we have all this unappropriated money sitting around. And if it went into that endowment, then it's gonna help,
cover,
that'll help build the interest too.
yeah, in
In a year or two, it could be totally self-sustaining.
Yeah, I think we go ahead and put enough in it that we know it is gonna be. And I don't know, we would need Brooke to calculate that number, whether
Well, we
it's
need
5
to
million.
do our 2 audits first so that we
Yeah,
have
Yeah, let's be
solid
sure.
Yes.
beginning balances beforehand, because if you look at your historic data, the unappropriated amount in 232 or 235 is significantly higher than it was last fiscal year because of our beginning balance differences over 2 fiscal years.
Yeah,
So
Right.
that's just from the budget
Mhm.
officer standpoint, those were figures that, as we already know, it's smoke and mirrors and budget as it is, but that was 2 years worth of having to forecast beginning balance or beginning
Right.
budget, since we haven't had our fiscal year 25 audit yet.
Mhm.
But by that time, we will have both audits done. We're scheduled with our audits.
Mhm.
So by fiscal year 27, we would know what
Mhm.
those true figures are.
Yeah.
So that we would know if it was excess to be transferring 5 million, or if we were in a zone where we could comfortably transfer 5 million. But right now, I'm not.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I agree. I mean, we've got a substantial amount in the unappropriated and that's a good reserve, but we don't need to keep building that. And
I think we all agree on that.
Yeah.
All of us have.
yeah.
The 3%'s gone. We've agreed on that one thing.
So
right?
maintaining that homestead thing and then the workforce housing, we got to incentivize, I did, and I'll get to it in my regular report. I've been talking with Rob Turry a little bit and met with him, but that's something that we need to do at both ends of the county, some more housing. And that's why I bumped that way up. But and then like I say, I increased the business development 1%. And emergency services, my thought on that too was the 10%. And I would like to transfer, my thoughts were with what's in the early learning fund endowment now, transfer that into the child care for seed money that we've got. And then my thoughts were to pull 2 million out of or the unappropriated balance to plug into the emergency services fund. That's
Mhm.
that's kind of where I'm at.
Do you have any
The-
questions?
I guess I'd just like to verify your workforce housing, you decreased that and combined it with your economic development, but would you be opposed to that still being a separate?
No,
If you
no,
could spot
I just,
of it being a
I was just
broken
trying
out line
to,
item? Because I think you guys have that same premise behind all of that is the workforce development and the housing being an increase. You guys just have it on
Different lines.
individual line items,
Mhm.
but you've
Yeah.
increased the economic development to include
yes,
a workforce development line
Right,
item. So just wondering if that, further down the line, if that is something that you're okay with being on its own line.
I was trying to get it down to 10 line items, but I don't do
I
that.
think,
I
I
think,
think the more, I think the lines are beneficial to have as a layperson.
Because one of my things was we do the budgets and stuff too, is, those should just be funds, just boom, 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 boom.
Which we did this.
Yeah, and
this
it's
year,
getting
added.
cleaning up a lot.
well, and I think that's one of the reasons why we have the cash carryover that we have.
Yeah.
Is. And it's difficult because if you don't have a project, you can't spend the money. And so I think things got forwarded into the next year's balance.
Well,
And so,
yeah, and I think it's it's the underestimating of the income, the underestimating of the interest we're gonna receive,
Yeah.
and then the unused funds.
that's another.
All contribute to
I think that's
that.
a huge benefit to having your audit completed
Mhm.
when you're doing your budget preparation.
Yeah. Yeah,
The only thing I wanted to add, I forgot to say too, as far as the emergency services, my thoughts on that are for EMS and fire, for equipment personnel. I mean, that's, I just want to make sure.
I think there's other ways to budget that when you guys get into that conversation as well, if they're going to be revolving or true reserves, or if you guys want to create what we're calling endowments, but they would just be reserve funds, whether they're called endowment or reserve in our budget, they're gonna in interest the same way.
Yeah.
Which if you look at other counties, a lot of counties will do that if they have,
Yeah.
they'll pull their emergency services into a reserve fund and they're not unappropriated, they're still reserve funds, but it's a different way of budgeting.
yeah. So there's your reserve fund.
Yeah.
A good example is
Yes.
the way the homestead rebate is. And then one particular budget year, you can have the expenses out of a portion of that reserve fund. If you need to.
So, well, I think one thing to keep in mind too, I called Drew Messenger over in Sherman County and talked to him.
Mhm.
I thought maybe he had a tax distribution schedule like we do in Gilliam County, which they don't. And but he did tell me that like the North Fire in Sherman, when the Bigelow project went off, that they went from 300,000 to over 800,000.
Yeah. Right.
And the Shepherd's Flat project is way bigger
Mhm.
than that Bigelow project
Right.
ever was. So
Right.
there's gonna be a lot of money that's gonna pour in on the north end.
Sure.
Their tax
sure.
rate's higher than ours though.
Yeah, my, like I said before, my biggest concern is at this end.
Yeah,
But,
Oh, yeah, right.
yeah,
But yes, it will be,
yeah,
it will
because
be,
we have
a
a fire department that is starving to death.
yes.
I got
Yeah.
8 pieces of old equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so my idea, and this is nothing set in stone, this is just a concept, is if you took the city of Condon and the city of Arlington, and I do not know the history of the funds that went to the city. In fact, I was working for the city of Condon back in 1980 something when this money came along, but there was never the Economic Enhancement Fund is to be used for economic purposes. And so I think one concept would be, how do we know we trust that they're spending the money wisely. We don't know what they're spending it on. So to have some sort of a report, and one idea would be that it must be spent on infrastructure and then split the childcare money and provide that to the two communities. Double the money the cities receive, but that would be what their funding could be used for, and have them fund their own communities' childcare needs. That's one idea. It's not set in stone. I have no qualms about that changing at all. It's just one person's thought. City of Lone Rock infrastructure, continue with the childcare endowment, but reduce that because of the additional amount going to each city. The road fund, I increased that by, what was that?
4.5.
Okay, because of the development we have. We like the developers to be paying for the roads that they're using, but there's a lot of impact on the road department, and that is infrastructure. So I would like to see that increase to 20%, and then have housing development in general. That is no change, 8%. Homestead rebate program. The reason I left that, and I do appreciate what you said, Commissioner Watkins, and the discussion with Commissioner Wilkins. But I just don't know if we have enough data to take that leap right now. It's still building. We're still growing. The endowment, because of the interest, is I wouldn't be opposed to decreasing the percentage though, and then reallocating the percentage, maybe take what is 6% of that? 6% of that.
6% of the total,
Yeah,
330.
homestead rebate incentive program.
If you changed it to 6%,
Uh-huh.
it'd be 330,000.
Okay,
Just looking
All
at a
right.
different one than 6%. And then I
Okay.
mean, if you had a distribution line item out of the homestead rebate,
yeah, so you would have the interest would cover it, and it would just, there would be a little cushion there for us to gather some more data. So that's my thought there. Economic development, that one, reallocation to other specific line items. So that one I decreased, but it's important we keep that because we have MCET now, we have different development projects, and we also have some match and some grants we currently have that we need to protect those funds. We also have the cash carryover though. We always have that. North and South and special projects, that's unchanged. Eliminate the 3% to growing the homestead rebate endowment, and then business development increase to 6%. Workforce development. My idea on the workforce development is infusing our scholarship foundation so that we can grow our workforce for the skills that we need, whether that be college bound or trades. But our scholarship foundations have worked very hard to educate, provide funding for our education, and I think that it would be something that we should consider. And then emergency services reserve. If we took the 7% from the homestead rebate incentive program and reallocated that to emergency services reserve, I would be in support of that. So that's what I have. So we want to go from here. Do we want to talk about the things we agree on so we can eliminate those and then spend our time on the rest of it? So North and South.
I'm not sure about having the city of Arlington, city of Condon handling part of the
Okay,
early learning. I think would be cleaner for it all to be in one fund, and then the court could have more control over it
Okay.
than relying on the cities to do that.
It is bringing, I agree with what you're saying in part because it does involve another entity.
Yeah, because we'd have the court and then the city of Arlington and the city of Condon, and I just think it would be cleaner for it to all be in one
what do you
fund.
think?
Yeah, I just think, yeah, it should just be
Okay, I concur
one,
with
and
that.
then we still have control on it, and you know, it's this is something we're not required to do, but we're in a good spot to be able to do that with these funds, and you know,
Okay.
I just, yeah.
So I'm gonna take that out of that. But what about infrastructure? For the cities?
So I think I originally put 8% to each, you got 12, could we go 10?
Well,
What would that look
the,
like?
the only reason I put the 12 was just because of the early learning.
Okay.
So that they could have the availability in their own community for the same level of funding that they currently.
So I think Brooke, when she did the average of it, she's got 8.67. So if you said, can you calculate on it as you go along?
So
If you said
Leah,
9 to the city of Arlington, 9 to the city of Condon, and 1 for Lone Rock.
yeah,
Do you recall how long the cities have been locked in at this? Been on that?
At the,
Wow.
oh,
yeah, they've been at 0.5%, probably since the start.
But
The city
cities,
of
the 6% too, it's been quite a while.
Yeah, I think so.
My question would be, if they haven't had the earmarked in the past, is there any opportunity for them to come back and say they aren't gonna sign an agreement? Would they have to sign an agreement for it to be earmarked as infrastructure? Because right now it's just kind of
I think
and are they in support of that?
we could come up with even an informal, what is your proposal for your infrastructure? Here's your funding, what's the end of the year report?
Okay, that would be
Um,
my only thing, is if you guys said we're earmarking it for something, they have the possibility to come back and say, no, we
Mhm.
don't want that money. This has to be specific for.
mhm.
Because I think when I worked at the city, if something came in that
It's all
Catherine knew
60%.
it was could be used for the economic enhancement, then that's what she took it out of. I think they have a regular line item
For that.
probably just a matter of putting the report.
I have the history up here.
Okay.
So the city of Arlington and city of Condon have always been at 6% since the very beginning, since 1995.
Wow.
Lone Rock was 0.3% until 2008, when it was increased to 0.5%.
Oh,
But
okay.
they've always been in there.
That bridge replacement that was done at Lone Rock, that wasn't done out of these funds. I mean, there was not the city's funds, but there was.
There was a
an
bridge
out-
fund,
a bridge
as well.
funds, okay.
and
I
I'm
know
not
it's-
sure.
I know it's complete, but
And I'm not sure if it was Lone Rock, but there was a bridge fund within the economic.
I think I remember seeing one in the old
Right.
budget, but
Yes.
I just was trying to,
2006, and then it went until 2017.
that was out of that. Oh,
2.1% for a couple of years, then 1%.
Well, one thing about the cities is they have received a portion of the community service fee from the wind projects. And when Shepherd's Flat rolls off, that will go away for them. So I'm not opposed to the 8% for the city of Arlington and Condon, but I would like to see that it's for infrastructure. That's just me.
8%,
Do
8%, 1%, the Lone Rock.
you have any thoughts on that?
no, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, what do you
Yeah, I'm
think?
just thinking, yeah, I
Oh,
don't know with,
Lone Rock one.
go ahead, do something else. I don't know how much, yeah, I guess maybe less talking to them to see what. I mean, do they have stuff already budgeted for infrastructure? I don't know, I doubt it, but
I just,
So we're
I
thinking
look at
2% each?
other cities and they've received like SIF funds and things like that, and then they're coming back and asking for more money.
I can't speak for the city of Arlington, but I think the city of Condon is always working on infrastructure.
I don't think it's gonna be a
water
problem for
lines
them
and-
to
Yeah,
earmark something. Sidewalks, streets, potholes, sewer, water.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they are too in Arlington, but. I mean, we can do that.
I think
Try
we
to keep
should,
them up.
if we do it, we need to communicate with them, make sure there's not gonna be a unforeseen issue with this.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario, it would stay with the way it is, but.
Cause they're gonna have a pump of 140,000, so.
What do you think about the percentage?
Yeah, I think it's a good start.
Okay.
At 8%?
8%?
Yeah.
Okay. 8, and we'll communicate with them about the requirement that it be expended on infrastructure. And then the city of Lone Rock, 1%, how do we feel about that?
Nothing gets cheaper.
No, okay, so that's resolved. What about, let's move down and then revisit the childcare. But let's go to road. What do you think about that? We have a difference, a 20%, a 17.5%, a 16%. We're not that far off, I don't think. The average on that is 17, almost 18%.
If we went
What if we went
18%, what would that give them? 990,000.
Almost pave a mile.
Get popcorn.
18, okay, that's, what do you think about that?
Yeah, and I
Okay.
don't think that's unreasonable, especially when we're looking at what is the state gonna do?
Yes, that's the other part of it. You're absolutely right. Okay, okay, homestead rebate endowment. We all agree that that 3% is eliminated. So then the homestead percentage. What about reducing? Let's see.
Your average comes in at 9%, 495,000.
Okay.
Which last year was 660,000 to pay for it. So 150,000 out of
The interest.
your interest.
Yeah. How do you feel about 9%? We can change this too as we get more data, as we see that.
I guess I just don't want to see it removed off the list because of the taxpayers and.
Right.
But like I say, I'm open to. Keeping it adjusted to where we're not, like I say. We need to spend more money.
Yeah.
The appropriated balances, but I just don't want to see it
Mhm.
go off the
List.
sheet.
Okay,
I can see it if we're gonna contribute to the endowment to the point where we think it'll cover, and then keeping a little in that reserve in case there is a housing boom, like you said, and we have,
okay.
and it's larger than we anticipated the interest covering.
So what percentage are you thinking? The averages of our 3 proposals is 9%. Are you with that, or
So
Do you
that
think
we
that's
sit
too-
at 495.
95?
And then it'll cover any additional, and then anything left over goes
Yeah.
to the reserve of
So
the
we're
endowment.
still building the interest to some degree.
Wow. All right, so this homestead rebate distribution, this 9% would cover not quite 100% of the
Right,
distribution. So then you would need another $170,000 from somewhere,
which would be the interest
which
from
would
the
be
endowment.
the interest from the endowment. So what would be building here would be the leftover interest.
Right,
You wouldn't be transferring anything from economic enhancement into the endowment. It
Mhm.
would just be self-sustaining
Mhm.
via the interest.
Okay with that.
you're good with
Hopefully,
the
and
9%?
at some point, it could probably just
Yeah.
be removed.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's ultimately the goal behind
Yes,
these
Right.
endowments, you guys, but it's taken 20
Yeah,
plus years for it to even get to
but
this.
they were only contributing at 3%, so.
that's
Well,
true.
they had that, when it was $595, they had excess that they were transferring
right.
annually
Yeah.
from the distribution line.
Yeah,
item.
whatever didn't get spent from the distribution line, it
Did go in.
went to the, and
Yeah,
the
I
endowment.
would not want to be here if we had to go from 15 to 5. It's just-
Okay, so we do have are you comfortable with the 9%?
Yeah,
Okay.
and the removal of the other one.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I do think it's a step in the right direction because we've removed that 3%, so moving towards self-sustaining that. North and south and special projects, there seems to be no difference there, so I don't think we even need to talk about it. The revolving transition, the same. And then we have business development, workforce, and economic development. Your idea was that those be combined into one line item.
Yeah.
And Commissioner Watkins and I each had those separate, so open discussion on that.
Because business development is like when we give money to the chamber for actual business.
Yeah.
I think economic development is more like, a countywide,
Oh, okay,
something that benefits, because the business development is private businesses.
mhm,
But my only thought, and I just put it on there because my only thought was, and I agree with the frontier, that part, helping new businesses and local business and stuff, but my only thought of why I put it on there was to, it's like the hiring a firm or somebody contracting to help market and possibly develop businesses in our county.
mhm. Okay,
I don't,
higher level
yeah, I'm just trying to,
business,
and like I say, I don't know how you go about it, but it's like Kelly nonprofit, they were for help
Nonprofit.
nonprofits and helping get grants and stuff, and that was my thinking with. My thought was if we could contract somebody or an agency that does that, to help develop, bring business and seek
Mhm.
grants or.
right,
Yeah,
But-
because I think the county has several times over the years tried to get an economic
Business.
developed person, and it just doesn't seem like it ever
Well,
works out
there-
very well.
There are a lot of nonprofit organizations, like through the chamber, they use what's called Reinventing Rule, which is a nonprofit focused on supporting small businesses. They're the ones that help build all the business plans and business models when people come to the chamber with new business ideas. So there are those entities out there that contract with
Yeah, well, the other thing
agencies
is
to
taking
do
the
that.
kid.
Yeah, make
They're-
that-
yes, okay, yes. Mhm.
The
Right.
4% that you guys have in the distribution now is not fully, you guys don't send all of that to the
No,
chamber.
we don't.
So
And-
the 4%
Oh, really?
isn't even fully
We
utilized,
don't-
yeah.
So one thought I have about it, and Commissioner Watkins, I can remember you mentioned something about, or maybe I misinterpreted, something about new businesses as opposed to existing businesses. I think we need to really also make sure that existing businesses have opportunities. And we have a historic Main Street, we have beautiful facades, but what's going on behind the facades? I worry about our buildings and if there's something we can do to help. And that's not a lot of money each year, but with it being increased a little bit, maybe we could do something to replace a roof for a business that we don't do right now. Things like that.
Originally, we're at 4%,
Mhm.
and so Brooks' average is 5.67,
Mhm.
so.
Is-
If
yeah.
we raise it to either 5 or 6, 5,
We'll just, right now you'll be increasing, you'll be at 101%.
Oh. But we're gonna
we're
move,
gonna have to.
yeah, we're gonna move the,
Just temporarily put this at
okay.
6.
Put it at 6 is fine, that's fine with me.
Going back to the business development,
Mhm.
so they are not expending.
You guys have only awarded, it's two $75,000
Mhm.
implementations plus a 10% admin fee, so it's like 182,000 that gets sent to the chamber per
Right.
fiscal year, but it's
Okay,
220,000 that is line item is distributed.
okay.
And we do not have, I mean, we give that to the chamber. It could be done another way in addition to that. Through
Yeah.
MCED maybe, or,
Do you know if their requests dropped off at the chamber?
I think
or-
they're still receiving requests heavily. I think their requests get bigger because there is no limit. When the program first started, we had limits on it, you know, it was like 15,000,
Mhm.
10,000 for childcare and something else. But then those limits came off of there, so now they can come in and request higher amounts.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
which
so it just was the way the contract was written, even, and that's again, another reason why cash carryover grows is we weren't spending all of that.
even with your, I mean, at 6%, that's a 110% increase. It's really 130 because you weren't expending that. So that's $130,000 to put into MCED or into
Mhm. Right,
a contracting with an agency to
Yes.
do that. So
are we comfortable with
The 6%.
6?
Good.
Are you good with that? Okay. Workforce development.
I have.
What do you think
4.
about that? Or I had 5, we're not that far off. Do you have any thoughts on that? Say, you know,
I took it
you
out.
have it
No.
above anyway.
No, I'm
Okay,
good with 4 or 5.
what do you think?
I would say 4,
Okay,
and then
I'm good with
you
that
can
too.
see how the need is, because it might be another one of those unexpended funds.
Mhm. We talked about housing, didn't we?
no,
Okay, housing, let's get that out of the way. 8%. Well, grants was mixed in with the others and I had 8%, so I'm comfortable with that. Are you? Or did you want more in housing?
I think we need to have more. Cause,
8% would be 440.
yeah,
A year?
I just think that is a top 3
Uh-huh.
and, I don't know how else to go about it, but to help. Like I said, I visited with Rob a little bit, Pioneer. I don't know where they're at, their total on their funds now, but what they're doing, I think the program seems to work. And I just, I think they have a little bit of money to loan out right now,
Mm-hmm.
but I can just see that as a way to bring more housing in. And through them with some of their programs, 3% construction loan, nobody's gonna get that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really would like to see that increased.
Should we increase it to 10?
I think a minimum of 10. I'd like more, but
And
We
as
also
a
have cash carryover.
yeah.
reserve fund or as. Because I think that like one of the issues we've talked about in the past is that hasn't been utilized, that
Mhm.
housing line item, and then it rolls into your cash. So is it something that you guys want to build a reserve for housing specifically, like you are with the childcare and the emergency services?
I think that might be a good idea.
Or is it something that?
Yeah, I wish I had a little more.
I wish, most of those that don't get expended, I wish they did go into reserves so that,
Mhm.
because you might have a year where they don't spend any money hardly, and then the next year there might be a big demand.
Right,
It's easier as well, as we know, to track your interests,
yes, it is.
allocate your interest to the individual distributions when it's in its own reserve fund.
So they were getting like 400 and some, right? Is that what it currently was?
t- Workforce housing was at 8%, I believe.
Yeah, it was
So
eight.
it was
yeah.
440. So if you went up to 10 and be
See-
110.
Okay.
The thing about the PCDC is that their loan programs, they're getting the money back, so they're not asking for grant funds. But had talked to Rob too about further incentivizing things like lot development infrastructure, 2 lots, as costs go up.
Yeah.
But if we went with 10% and made it a reserve, just as a draft for us to talk about,
That's
what do you think about
I'm
that?
good with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And each year we can budget.
105 over.
Huh?
We're only
Yeah.
5% over.
What do you guys want to call it? This is just a name on there.
Housing Development Reserve, yes. Okay. And, okay, childcare, is that where we're at?
Childcare,
Oh.
economic development and emergency services
Okay.
reserve. I think if you talk about childcare and emergency
Yeah.
services reserve.
So childcare, what do you think? You have 550, Leah has 770.
But I was eliminating everything with the homestead rebate, so that's how I came up with the extra in those.
And the intention
So-
behind that is that, I guess my question is, what's the intention behind the 2 reserve funds? That they would come with requests at some point and then that excess gets put into reserves, or it all?
That was my thought. Keep it in for that entity,
And it
whatever
wouldn't,
it is.
it wouldn't have to be every year, it could be whatever
Yeah.
is coming. 1 year you might build, then the
Yeah, 'cause
next
we
year
might-
you might spend some of it.
Might build them up and then it's like, oh, we don't need that later, 5, 10 or 10 years, I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, childcare, where are we at here? So we would reallocate the amount that I put in for the 2 cities. So 24 minus 16. So it'd be 8% reallocated. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so do we just want to call this Gilliam County Childcare? What do we want to call this?
That's my thought. I mean, I think it should be Gilliam County Child Care License. Because
When we define, when we make our definitions, we can define that it's for
I just-
childcare.
I just think, I mean, we have a way to fund childcare now and the
Mhm.
Reimbursement center and through this,
Mhm.
but that's my thoughts.
So I say so divided that by both communities. If we had 300,000 available for each, it would made it 600,000. What do you think about that, Commissioner Watkins?
Is that 10% then?
No, I think.
Could be a little more, 12.
12.
And then how's our percentages doing down below? 881, and we went through all that. Oh, yeah, we're gonna have to readjust that. There we go. Okay, what do you think of that?
Yeah, and then just calling it Gilliam County Child Care.
Gilliam County Childcare. What do you think of that?
My only problem with calling it Gilliam County Child Care is you're leaving it open to anybody that has a child care in Gilliam County.
So the definition, we would further refine what we want to fund when we
Okay,
do the definition in the ordinance. So
so
sounds like it
licensed
is
childcare can
license.
be a private person too,
I,
correct?
I think we could do that. in
And then
business
you're
development.
getting into people that they may be licensed, but they're private owned.
Which would fall under business development.
Yeah, we have this, I think we could do is utilize some of the business development excess funds for the private
Private.
businesses, and that one would be what we're currently funding.
Because at one point, the business development that was through the chamber did have specifically earmarked for our childcare services. I think when it first started, it was like a
So I think that one
Business
got money from them.
childcare.
so
Yeah.
then, so we'd want to make that non-profit childcare, or basically, or someone, whatever.
Licensed childcare centers. Or,
But what I'm saying again, that you could have privately licensed
That's what I
childcare.
think that's what Grant's wondering. So you want it to be specific to nonprofits then,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
I'm good with that.
which
okay,
comes with
And
the
then-
distribution.
Private ones could be covered for the business. right?
yes. Right,
Okay,
okay, so when we do the definition, it will define. Yeah, okay. All right,
And we're at 100%.
uh-huh.
I just
Okay.
matched your emergency
Services
services
reserve,
and lowered your economic development tonight.
yeah. Let's see, what did we have emergency services? 10, 14, and 5. Okay, what do you think of that?
Works for me.
Okay,
so the only thing, I know it's in the unappropriated balances, but what's the court's thoughts about like the 2 million that was in the early learning center of switching that over to that fund?
Well, I think-
And
You're just doing a title change, right? Like it's really not, we wouldn't need to,
so it's there.
Oregon budget law, we can change the title of it's really
Okay.
about the historic tracking there. I'd have to verify that. But I think if they'd be fine with us used for the same purpose, just as a
Okay.
different title, that
Just-
endowment would stay the same.
So we've already got a pot.
and
Yes.
it's still growing,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and then my other thought was
It
to,
will have 3 million in it by next year, because this won't come in
Right.
effect till
right,
2028.
right,
and my other thought was taking a
Match.
couple million out of that appropriated and plugging it into that emergency services reserve
mm-hmm,
to get it
Yeah.
kick-started off too.
mm-hmm, when we budget,
Yes, I just, I
Uh-huh.
just, I agree with, the SIP funds rolling off some of the districts in the north end, but
we're,
need some funds available for this.
there we go, sorry.
I was showing you what his.
Yeah, I see now.
And I don't know how, I mean, the definitions, how we want to write that up, but like I say, I stated it before, it was for
Okay,
EMS, fire, personnel, equipment, whatever we need to get at this end
okay,
ASAP. But that's my thoughts.
does anybody have any more input? So then next will be the definitions. And so I would encourage
So-
you to get,
Are we gonna talk about the enhancement fund itself, the changes?
oh,
Because I'm confused about the incentive program
okay.
definition.
The reason that the assessor's office recommended that, it's not a true rebate. Have you talked to them?
Yes, a little bit over the years.
A rebate is you're getting a refund and it's a check. So it's really not a rebate.
They can use it for whatever they want. They don't have to use it on their
Mhm.
taxes.
Yeah.
It's basically just an
Mhm.
incentive to have housing, but, and I think that Sherman County calls it a similar thing. It's not called a rebate, it's called,
Mhm.
but they allow their renters to receive it as well, not just homeowners.
Because good old AI, when you Google them, it's like a tax rebate is the payment back on whatever taxes
Yes.
you owe. And an incentive could actually be something that lowers the tax values. And I don't think that's what we're doing, is it?
I would have to
No.
rely on them.
No, the assessor's office proposed this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, So just so that people don't come in and think
Their tax.
their tax is gonna be low, you know, their values are gonna be lowered because.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, we can have that legally checked out, have them check that out before we adopt this to make sure there's
Yeah,
no implications to the choice of words.
Since Sherman does it to the renters too.
Yes, Sherman. County
Yes, they
allows
do
the
rental
renters
housing
to
as well.
Get to
Mhm.
their incentive program. We don't do that.
no,
And this one, you know, does talk about home ownership being the incentive.
yeah, because and I was just clarifying, because if we were started lowering tax rate, that
No.
would get the whole
No way.
taxing districts into an uproar.
No. And they're not here to speak to that, but you can always, when the meeting's over, go in and talk to them too and
Okay.
ask what,
I'll
you
talk
know,
to
their
Fred.
research was
Okay.
on that choice of words. Okay, so,
Is this in the other agenda or not? Is
no,
this-
I talked to Shannon
Oh.
about that. We have about
I
10.
know, I think I talked to Shannon
Uh-huh.
quite a bit about the fire district in there.
Okay, so any definitions that you want specific language, that would be the next step, so that we bring forth the ordinance for public hearing and approval. We have all that ironed out. So any of those you can get to Brooklyn.
Okay.
Any of the language, the way it currently is written, and then how we would want to amend that.
Okay.
Okay. All right,
Great.
and I'll do the same thing. Good, you did it.
Excellent meeting.
So. Do you guys are here. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
Thank you.
Okay.
We're just kind of watching the process.
Yeah,
Anxiously, so.
yeah.
Some nervous things that were said at the last county court meeting and in the paper last week, that made us a little nervous, so we're just supposed to have some.
Okay, this is the official record of what happens. Yeah, thank you. Did you have any questions about that? What was said? What you were concerned about?
Not yet, there was some things that were answered today, so see how it goes.
Okay.
Well, and I think this is fair in that all the meetings we had, I mean, livability within the county was a big subject. And so I think spreading the money out is the best thing we can do.
mhm,
I mean, if we keep money in unappropriated funds, it's not really out there doing good
for
for
his work,
the
yeah,
people.
right. Mhm. Yeah. Shannon, did you have anything you wanted to say?
No, not as far as this is concerned. I guess, again, I'm gonna just say to the court that, I keep looking at what's happening with South Gilliam's budget for the fire. And, I'm really concerned about it. I think that we're gonna get to a point where we can't operate on what we're getting.
Mhm. Do you think that's a step in the right direction?
I guess my question with that is, how is that gonna be? I mean, we're gonna need operational funds at some point, and just for plain operational purposes, because when you look at us getting $44,000 a year in tax dollars and $22,000 of that's going out in insurance costs. There's not a lot left over from the tax dollars to
Mhm.
operate the rest of the budget on.
Right.
And I guess my question with this is how, if we're in a situation where we're needing money, how are we gonna be limited for what we can spend it on? So are we only gonna be able to spend it on vehicle purchases and on personnel costs, or are we gonna be able to spend it on just general operating costs?
Mhm.
I guess my thought, Sharon, or Shannon, um. Whatever the need is. Because we've got to have it. And if it's personnel or equipment, it's like, I just like the fire service. I know the budget is small. Insurance rates going up. You guys got a little bit of equipment last year. I look at the equipment that in the hall, and I'm looking at all that money we got in our. I want to change that, and I don't know. I mean, I don't think. I guess my thought is we're not going to say well, you can only spend so much on equipment or so much on. If you need personnel or if you need a piece of equipment, I mean, the counties has bought ambulance, I mean, what's an ambulance cost? We're 500,000 now.
Oh, yeah,
I
at least.
mean, you know, and we gotta have the services and we gotta have the personnel and I see the need at this end coming down the pipe and I want to get the money to where we, I mean, like I say, we got all this money, let's do something with it. And I think it's just, I guess my thought is if you guys have a need, bring it to the court and, you know,
And I like your thought on taking some of the, fund balance and budgeting for it to infuse that line item, with
Yeah.
additional funds.
yeah, because you're already at almost the point to where, okay, we've done everything we can.
Yeah,
We need some support.
yeah. The ambulance service, and I shouldn't say this, but the ambulance service is actually in a little bit better situation just because we have the ability to adjust what our rates are and we have the ability to do those. The fire department's stuck with what we get taxed otherwise.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, is there anything else? Okay, that concludes the work session. It's your definitions to
o'clock.
Brooklyn. So we can- Yes. I'm calling to order the regular meeting of the Gilliam County Court. It is July 1st. A quorum has been established. All members are present, and we will now have the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, are there any additions or revisions to the agenda item?
Yes,
Okay.
I would like to, take 5.2, consider approval of the bills out of the consent agenda and move it to the regular,
Okay.
because I'm in it.
Oh, okay. To the business. Will be under new business. All right,
Which one do you want to make that?
7.1. We'll reallocate the rest. Okay. 3.0. This is a continuation of a public hearing for deliberations only regarding consideration of an application for zone amendment to allow marijuana retail as a conditional use in rural unincorporated community RC zone. The public hearing on amendment AZ-001-26 is called to order. The request is to amend the Gilliam County Zoning and Land Development Ordinance, GCZ-LDO, to allow cannabis retail as a use allowed conditionally in the rural unincorporated community RC zone, amending GCZ-LDO, Article 4, Section 4.030, and Article 1, Section 1030. To incorporate and amend definitions for cannabinoids and marijuana business and Article 8, Section 8.270, marijuana businesses to authorize marijuana retailing as a permitted use in the rural unincorporated community RC zone and change the word prohibited to permitted for wholesaling in the footnotes of Table 1. The hearing today will be conducted as follows. First, the staff report. Then we will go into questions of staff, if any, by the county court and discussion by the county court. A decision may be made by the county court at the close of the hearing, or the matter may be continued to a time and date in the future. If the matter is reset to a time and date certain in the future, this will be the only notice of that date you receive. At this time, I ask the members of the county court to disclose any conflict of interest. Please indicate the nature of the conflict and whether you intend to participate in or abstain from the hearing.
I have none.
No.
At the last hearing, I declared a potential conflict. However, the area we're talking about is Mayville. Unincorporated communities in Gilliam County include 3, and it does not include the unincorporated community which I live. So I will be participating. I do want to make it clear to anyone who may have wanted to testify today. We have had an interest in testifying. However, we closed testimony on June 17th after 2 hearings from the Planning Commission that were held in the spring, and we also had a hearing at the last meeting. So we made it clear at that time that we continued the hearing only for deliberation. So just want to make that clear to the public in case there is any confusion. We had a couple of people who wanted to speak and some additional public testimony. Planning Director Stephanie Case will now present the staff report. Is she online?
She and Keller.
Okay.
Stephanie's online, but this is Carla McLean. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Is it up as far as it'll go?
I can try to turn up on my end too, possibly.
Okay. Yes, that'd be good.
Okay. So Stephanie is online, but she's dealing with a family issue this morning. So I'm here in her stead. A lot to share. Judge Patnode, you stated your introduction perfectly. The one thing I do want to comment on is that there were some emails that were forwarded to you that I need to ask you as much as you can, not just to you, but I think to all 3 of you to disregard those because those would be considered comment. And you, again, closed your public hearing to comment last month. So we need to set those aside and consider the information that you had as of the close of the last public hearing. Other than questions that you might have, I don't really have anything else to share today. But as you are deliberating, if you do have any questions, staff are here to answer those questions to the best of our ability.
Okay. Do you have questions of Carla McLean, Planning Director? Do you have questions?
I
And this is
have-
Stephanie. I am here. So if you guys have anything
Oh.
specific about this request, yeah.
Okay. Is there any?
So I guess I do have one question. So, the way it's written down now is the permittable use is in either a commercial or industrial zone.
The way
Is
that it
that-
is currently written, it is allowed in some retail marijuana is allowed in some industrial zones only. I don't have that complete list in front of me, but there are just a couple of industrial zones with some limitations, and it's allowed as a conditional use. In the rural unincorporated community zone that we're looking at here, retail is not allowed. However, processing and other forms of marijuana business would be allowed, but not the retail piece.
Okay.
But just commercial and industrial
Are we good?
No, we don't have, we can see you guys.
She just reset it.
It just shut down. So you pulled it shut down. So I just restarted it.
Do you want to
Okay, now.
maybe go into Kelly's office and see?
It's back.
Okay.
Right.
I think it was on your guys' end. I
Yes,
caught
it was.
Commissioner, okay. Commissioner Wilkins had just started asking a question, so
that's
I
all.
don't know what his question was.
Go ahead. Ask
Uh,
again.
So currently we have areas zoned for retailing in commercial and industrial. Is that correct?
Michelle, do you have that complete list? I think it's just some of the industrial zones excluding intermodal industrial, right? No commercial zones currently allow it. In the unincorporated areas, there may be commercial
Right.
zones in some of the city limits, but not in the unincorporated areas.
Unincorporated, yeah, okay.
So, Ms. Case is correct.
Would you state your name?
Oh,
Sorry.
Michelle Colby, newly appointed or hired Gilliam County Planning Director, in the transition with City of Boardman, who has been previously providing planning services for Gilliam County. Ms. Case is correct. Right now, retail is allowed in the industrial zone, and I'm just going to clarify, Gilliam County unincorporated area does not have commercial as a zone. It's generally lumped in with industrial, but we do not have a commercial zone by that
Okay.
title. So they kind of get lumped together. I just wanted to make sure that there is no, that's why industrial for Gilliam County purposes has been considered commercial, because there is,
Okay.
it's generally a more urban zoning nature. And
Okay.
so, I just want to make sure that the court is aware that the county does not have a designation of commercial zone at this moment in time.
Mhm.
But we have industrial, which kind of has been used as that purpose. And you're correct. Stephanie is correct. And I'll just reiterate, there are 3 industrial zones: general industrial, limited industrial, and intermodal. And intermodal does not allow retail. Just the other 2, general industrial and limited industrial at this time. And there's no other options for retail currently in the unincorporated areas.
Mhm.
Michelle, can you repeat which industrial zones do allow it? I just want to have it clear.
General industrial and limited industrial.
Limited in general. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, I did review what happened with the vote, what happened with the ballot measure, what happened with the county court when this decision was made to designate in the industrial zone. And what I found from that research was that there was a significant body of work around deciding that industrial was at the time the appropriate place for this. That's what I found from my research. The legal counsel was involved. There were work sessions, full analysis. I will say they were dealing with hotel, wholesale, retail, and manufacturing all together when they were talking about this, not just retail. So that's what I found.
So I did get that after I called Ellen and she said you had gotten this previously. And this is another one of those measures that's written like, if you vote, yes, it's prohibited. If you vote no, it's approved. And I just wonder if if it was put to the voters the way it was originally, but now we're saying the court could put it in other places if it still would be passed, because I'm sure all of you've gotten people stopping you on the street with their strong views.
And I think it's important for us to remember and separate what we're dealing with today. We're only talking about the zone.
Yeah.
It's not about the conditional use application. It's not about whether or not, we have to take care of this first.
Yeah.
It's just the zoning is all we're talking about.
I'm ready.
You're ready? Okay. Do you have any more
I don't know if you guys have any
thoughts you want to
discussion.
share?
I just, we have specific areas for retailing and I just do not see this going forward. I worry about we're setting precedents, and I guess my feeling is to deny this request for zone change. Sweet.
I agree. Yeah. Like I said, I do think that the county court did its due diligence in determining the zone. The fact we don't have a commercial zone, is this the appropriate place for it? And I think that the county court found what they believe was the appropriate place in the general and limited industrial zones. So I concur.
And I truthfully think we would be opening ourselves up to more.
That's one of my concerns too.
Okay. So from staff, it sounds as if the county court is leaning towards a denial. When we make the motion, is it the denial of the request to amend the Gilliam County zoning and land use ordinance? And read the whole section to allow cannabis retail as a use allowed conditionally in the rural incorporated community? Would that be correct, Stephanie?
I think we can just.
Okay, let's go with our. Good, Michelle.
That would be my understanding that the county court would make a motion and then ask staff to bring the documentations to the next meeting for the county court to officially adopt the motion. I hear, Stephanie, are you on there now?
My apologies, I didn't catch that whole question. But yes, so you would make a decision today and then we would bring the documents back to the court. If the decision were to recommend denial, as I'm hearing, then we would be coming in front of the court with an order establishing the denial.
Okay, just wanted to make sure we understand the process. So this is what this would be if someone gonna make a motion to deny request to amend. So it would be that, that's highlighted, so deny the request. Yeah, that's your motion.
All right, also move the request is to amend the Gilliam County zoning and land development ordinance to allow cannabis retail as a use allowed conditionally in the rural and incorporated community RC zone. Be denied.
Be denied.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Yes.
Judge, no, yeah, this is Carla.
Uh-huh.
So because your decision is a little bit different than the recommendation that has come before you, it would be really great if you could just make a couple of statements that staff can use as findings to support your denial.
Okay.
So you said a few things in your previous deliberation, but if you could reiterate those specifically, because that,
Okay.
so that when we bring the order back, there is a foundation that outlines why the denial. Again, you've made a few comments. If you could just kind of reframe those or reiterate those would be great.
Okay, I would say that a process took place by the county court, including work sessions with careful review of the appropriate zone for this use. And from that process was determined that the general and limited industrial zone is the appropriate place for this type of a business. And I believe the county court did their due diligence at the time. What do you think?
Good with that.
Okay, all right. Okay, we have a motion. Is that enough?
That's a great foundation. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate that.
We have a motion, we have a second, we've had discussion and input from planning staff. We're now ready to take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, thank you. The hearing regarding application for a zone amendment is now closed. 4.0 correspondence public comment. Individual is wishing to address the county court may do so at this time and at other times throughout the meeting. Speakers are asked to raise their hand and be recognized by the chair, give name and city, and limit comments to 3 minutes. Is there any public comment generally?
We will have an attorney, by the way. I don't know if you guys are ready. 2015, it was voted in and somebody went in and.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
So you did the paperwork, I've done it.
Okay. Anybody online? Okay. And let's see, we do not have any correspondence. All right.
Is this I think that was a brand new Oregon Health Authority,
Oh, are we on?
the brand new agreement. No, I didn't know if you were starting on.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's another amendment.
so we should be
Mhm.
getting a new one.
Complete new agreement for public health.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. All right, so we are going into consent agenda. A 5.1, consider approval of agreement for Oregon Health Authority for the financing of public health services. We are not considering the bills at this time. That's been moved to new business. We are considering an agreement with CAPECO for funding of meal site program and consider approval of amendment for agreement for CAPECO for payment reduction reimbursement. And consider approval of an agreement with DataWorks Plus for technical support. Have any questions about those items on the consent agenda?
I don't have any.
Okay,
I'll move to approve the consent agenda 5.1, 5.3, 5.4, and 5.5 as presented, and move 5.2 to new business.
okay.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, unfinished business. 6.1, discuss conclusion of Marina and Company accounting conversion and audit preparation project. Is Brooklyn downstairs?
She's downstairs.
Okay, she'll speak whenever you're ready, Brooklyn.
That's good.
Okay.
Fine. We're running up the stairs.
Sorry. Okay. Which part, what part?
Oh, sorry, we're on 6.1, discuss conclusion of Marina and Company accounting conversion and audit preparation project.
Yes, last Monday, they provided us with their adjusting journal entries. Kelly and I worked through those together. She imported them all. They're in our system. Good to go.
They're in. Okay.
Yes, they are in. We reviewed them. We were doing our adjusting, our accrual entries. which Kelly just had to send an email to Cassell about how we reverse them into July. But those are almost done as well. We haven't like pulled the trial balance or anything to see how it looks. But we weren't able to meet with Marina this week. They had a conference they were at, so we have no update to like discuss with them that our journal entries are in. We're meeting with them next Monday. I think like the biggest findings out of that we came about was within the custodial funds. Of course, we still had those cash balance issues within the budgeted funds, but those were clear transfers into our cash allocations.
They just had to be moved
Yeah,
into cash allocations. that's
which
all.
was just different. You know, we talked about it being cash on hand in Chavs and cash allocation in Cassell. So that's just, those were those adjusting entries that they recommended for the budgeted funds. Any other questions? Anything else you want me to talk about?
No,
But,
yay.
Yes, it's
good,
gonna-
yes, great news. And
We're
it just,
set to, I guess that's next on the agenda, the audit.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so. You know, I've been sitting on the meetings with you too, and they've been they're very knowledgeable, they're very helpful. Accounting conversions are not easy. This one was especially complex. Number of transactions, I think, has a lot to do with it, number of employees, it's not a small organization. But we're almost through this.
Yeah.
So thank you for your work.
Absolutely. Yes, so we're all,
Yes.
I could not be more thankful to Jenny and Rochelle and Tanya for the work that they did. There's, I mean, 3 of them that were working on this project, or whatever team members that they had since March. They did express that it was a good challenge for them, something that they really had never been exposed to before. So I think that they learned a lot, we learned a lot.
Yeah,
We're to the point of moving forward. Our audit's scheduled for the end of July. So we are
good. We'll close that chapter.
moving up. Yes, yes.
Yeah. And, you know, again, I asked them, you know, did you find anything that you did that was concerning? And it all stems back to the systems that we're going from, the system we're going to, and the custodial funds. So that's the major conclusion. We are going to have them do a final report, so it's in writing what they found, and what the conclusion of this is. So I think that's gonna be important for history as well, so that we don't repeat history down the road.
Yep.
All right, discuss audit schedule.
Yeah. So now that Brad sat in one of our meetings in mid-June with Marina and Company Brad, who is our auditor with Singer Luwak, and was able to get like an overview of what they had been working through. And we settled on June 27th as the week for our field work, because if you remember, we did our interim work in July of 2025. So they've already done our interim, which is kind of their prep work for fiscal year 25. So they'll be coming July 27th for our field work. We have to have our documentation to them by the 12th. So Kelly and I are working to have that to them. They did change audit systems, which has been a learning curve, but nothing that we can't work through. And then we're actually also scheduled for our fiscal year 26 interim and field work the same week, which is November 16th. So we're hoping to have both fiscal year 25 and fiscal year 26 completed by December 31st is the
Great,
goal.
great, good.
Yep. And of course, we've been talking with both Kathy and Brad throughout the whole time we were with Marina, and they're well aware of what could be outlying when we get into the audit, but what they needed fixed has been fixed, so we can move forward.
What they needed fixed has been fixed.
Yeah.
Okay, great,
Yes.
good. All right, thank you.
Also, were the bills moved to new business?
Yes.
That was something new.
No,
It just, it had Watkins Auto Care and
Oh,
that
okay.
reimbursement check.
Yeah.
And still, this.
okay,
Thanks for fun.
thank you. Okay, new business, 7.1. I guess we'll just move them all down. Is bills, consider approval of bills pending review for June 26th. Any questions about those? Okay, do we have a motion?
Also move to approve the bills in. 5.2.
Okay. Consider,
June of 26.
Right.
As a percent.
okay, I will second the motion. So, are you abstaining
Yes.
from the entire, okay, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Abstained.
okay, motion carries. Consider adoption of resolution 2026-07 energy resilience plan. Hello. Go ahead and state your name when you come up.
Lindsay McClure, Energy and Project Manager with Mid-Columbia Economic Development District.
Okay.
Are you going to share your screen?
Can you, did you get the slides? Are you able to show them?
Okay.
Like an encyclopedia book.
Yeah.
Like, you're in 98 pages?
Even for a lower
It's
count.
less than 750 that the old emergency operations plan was.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Probably going to go see my little Zoom screen too. Oh, I guess.
I know. Thank you.
So to view it, so it's doesn't have that side panel, oh, slideshow, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's been a while, very good.
All right, well, yeah, thank you for having me here today. As I said, my name is Lindsay McClure, Energy and Project Manager at Mid-Columbia Economic Development District. I understand that Jessica's already been here, but also welcome to McCad, Gilliam County.
Thank you.
We really look forward to continuing to work with you. I'm here today to talk about the Regional Energy Resilience Plan, and you can go to the next slide. So the Oregon Department of Energy or the Oregon Legislature had passed House Bill 3630 in 2023, which among other things directed the Oregon Department of Energy to create a grant program that provided resources to each Oregon county to create an energy resilience plan. Counties were given the option to either work independently, to join a cohort, or to opt out of the program and not participate. So ultimately, 19 out of Oregon's 36 counties decided to develop an energy resilience plan. And in the Mid-Columbia region, the 4 counties formed a cohort because the counties see that energy doesn't really see county lines. So by working together, we were able to look at the region a little bit more holistically. And MCED was brought on as a technical assistance provider to develop the plan with a lot of help from a lot of different people. So the bill, House Bill 3630, was very prescriptive. It outlined exactly what was to be included in the energy resilience plan. So the plan that we developed followed that framework. Next slide, please. So a big piece of the energy resilience plan was outreach, talking to people and hearing from them what they think about and what their needs are when it comes to energy resilience. So the outreach took the form of surveys, tabling, interviews, and attending events where there was a nexus with energy resilience. And I'll share a few takeaways from our outreach. The first thing that we learned is that people want to shelter in place if they can when there's an outage. So anything that we can do to help people improve their homes so that they maintain a livable temperature longer is helping people experience a power outage in the way that they want to experience it. And then if it comes to a point where people need to go and shelter elsewhere or seek resources elsewhere, the top priorities were in municipal buildings or in schools. Top concerns for people were wildfire, followed by winter storms. And the biggest barriers that people were concerned about included aging infrastructure and lack of communication. And then the final thing that came through really strong in the surveys was a sense of community and a willingness to help others. So people felt very open and willing to help their friends and neighbors when disasters strike. Next slide, please. So this is the form that the Energy Resilience Plan took, and this follows the outline that was provided by Oregon Department of Energy. So there are three primary focus areas. The first is evaluating the current energy scenario. This includes identifying and mapping natural hazard risks, energy infrastructure, social vulnerabilities, and critical public service facilities. And then the second focus area was ways to improve energy resilience. And this is looking at the facility and community level. And then the final section, increasing energy independence, is thinking more broadly about what our energy system looks like and how we can meet local needs with local generation. And then a lot of things fell into the appendix. There are 17 community profiles, 3 for Gilliam County, reference maps, disaster fuel plans separate for each county, and then outreach reports. Next slide, please. The plan also includes case studies because there are a few interesting projects that are either currently underway or already installed in the Mid-Columbia region that can be a blueprint for other facilities or communities looking to improve their energy resilience. I'll talk really briefly about these 3 projects. The first is the Gloria Center, which is a multi-agency social services facility in the Dalles, and they installed solar battery storage and a natural gas generator that can power the facility during power outages. The second, that middle project, is in South Wasco County, and those are beam units. So it's a solar panel with an EV charger and a battery, and that unit can be tied into the building so they can both pull power from the building to charge their battery if needed. And when the battery is charged, it can discharge into the building to support the building when the building loses power. And the units are mobile, so they can be loaded onto a trailer and transported to different parts of the county. And Wasco County found this to be an interesting solution because they do a lot of mutual aid and helping different parts of the county. So a lot of their facilities don't have enough money to install dedicated backup power. But if they have a unit that's mobile, if one part of the county is in crisis, other parts of the county can mobilize supplies. And then this last project also has a mobile component. This is Weiss Middle School in Odell in Hood River County, and they're installing a solar and battery powered microgrid that will power the gymnasium in the school. And that microgrid also uses mobile batteries in the form of electric school buses, and those electric school buses can plug into the gym and discharge their batteries to supply power to the gym when the grid loses power.
How do the electric school buses work? Are they effective?
So the school district now has a fleet of 6 electric
Okay.
vehicles, and so they've slowly been integrating those vehicles into their fleet. And the bus drivers in particular have sent positive reports. The vehicles are a lot quieter, so the children inside the buses are a lot quieter, and that's a big
Did you say
quieter, yeah. So that's a big win for the drivers who are driving the bus, is they're not dealing with this noise all day. And they have routes that they're able to drive and recharge in between when they need to run routes. You know, the interesting thing about the school buses, both from an electric vehicle perspective, but particularly for an emergency response perspective, is if there were an emergency, those buses aren't going to be used to transport students because their school is not going to be in session. So those batteries can then be repurposed to do something else. So this is this project in particular it's really like a case study. This is one of the first times that this has ever been done. So I think that there are like a lot of sticky points that the engineers in particular are working through, but they're hoping that this can be a template that schools around the country could follow, because the schools can then earn extra revenue for the ways that their bus batteries are being used. And the county gains additional resilience capacity.
Do you know how much the portable solar project was?
So good question. All three of these are grant funded projects, so that I recognize as a barrier to being replicable. Oregon Department of Energy has what they call their Community Renewable Energy Grant Program, and all three of these projects received funding from that grant program. And I don't know the exact cost of each of the projects.
I'd like to know how much a battery operated bus costs.
I think those are around 400,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe buses are a little expensive.
Wow. Yeah. Not
State of Oregon pays for them.
I think there are a few different places the funding came for those buses. And they're hoping that the electricity to pay to power the buses is much less than the diesel fuel. So they're looking at, even if they had purchased the buses, if the total cost of ownership will end up equaling out over the lifetime of the bus. So they're looking closely at that, but because they haven't run electric buses before, they're not sure exactly how much it's going to cost. Yeah. Next slide. So then to wrap it up, the recommended actions in the plan fall primarily into these 4 buckets. The first bucket is increasing data availability and transparency, primarily around electricity outages. The second is monitoring key state and regional developments. This is primarily around resource adequacy and energy markets. And then the third is supporting energy efficiency and strategically sited distributed energy resources. And then finally, building the capacity needed and implementing energy resilience projects. Next slide. So that's my overview. I'm happy to take any questions. And before I want to pass it over to Chris in case you have something to add.
No, Lindsay was great to work with, and geez, when did we start this?
I know.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was Hood River, Wasco, Sherman, and Gilliam project, and McHead was great. Other than that, ODOE gave each county $50,000, and Hood River actually was the fiscal coordinator. We kept track of our hours at a local level, and then we actually have submitted our invoice of what kind of time that I put into it, and Julie at the time was in my office as well, which is very, very minimal. And we'll eventually get some reimbursement back from Hood River for any of that time. But it's been a great process, and now it's just getting it approved, and then I guess getting the door open for any of those grants that I hope that potential grants for any of maybe local business owners that could maybe take advantage of any of again, we don't have gas stations that have any backup generators for the power goes out for fueling, which we run into sometimes. That's was one of my main goals. And so, yeah.
Okay. So do you have any questions for Lindsay?
I don't have
Any
any.
further questions? Okay.
We need one of those portable solar things. That's a rat.
Yeah.
How many buses that cost though?
No, just the
That little,
I know,
that portable, yeah.
The cost, like.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we have consideration a resolution adopting the emergency resilience plan. Are we prepared to adopt the resolution?
Good.
Yeah.
I'll move to adopt resolution R 2026-7. adopting the energy resilience plan as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution number R 2026-07. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Gilliam.
Thank you.
Okay, item 7.2, consider approval of CIS benefits copay option. Brooklyn Griffith.
Share this with you guys, but pull it up on the screen. Last Tuesday, I believe it was, I went to my annual CIS benefits renewal meeting in the Dalles. I went to the CIS conference already in sorry, I can't see this. In February, where we came forward with you guys, where we talked about our insurance rate increases, which we'll talk about in here as well. Some of the discussions that we've had over the last year was just giving employees another option. So that's kind of what this proposal is. I'm coming forward to propose that we add a copay option, which is self-insured through CIS. It's a United Healthcare benefits program. So I just need your approval to add that. What's called our request for coverage opens in July. So I have to submit to CIS what we're going to do for 2027 by July 23rd, I think. So anything that you guys approve here is what I would add to our RFC.
So you and I spoke about the fiscal impact. Do you want to cover that a little bit?
Yes, I'll go through my
Okay.
presentation. I'm just giving you guys a little
Right.
overview
Thank
of
you.
what I'm coming to
Okay.
propose for. And this is solely, yes, just the financial aspect of it. It would be up to the employees to go do their own research on the Surest program versus our high deductible. As a high overview, the things that I learned from our meeting, these are the changes that we'll see. There are several other copay options, but you'll see later in the slide, we can only choose Surest or one other copay option just based on the CIS requirements. So for our high deductible health plan that we have right now through Regents for 2026, that medical maximum out of pocket was 2 times the deductible. For 2027, that's going to be 3 times the deductible. So that's what's on the right hand of the screen there, which is what we currently offer is a high deductible health plan. The deductibles are set by the IRS. So that's basically what they follow there. For next year, it'll be 1,750 for a single, 3,500 for a family. Your out of pocket is just triple those deductible amounts. For the whole CIS plan in general, they're going to have a new FSA administrator, which folks can use if they aren't eligible to put into an HSA. They can put into an FSA. We also have what's dependent care, which none of our employees utilize right now, which is really a great benefit. But this is solely just saying right now we're being administered by ASI Flex, about to be administered by Surance. No changes there. Higher opt-out compensation. We don't provide opt-out compensations if they opt out of medical, so that this is irrelevant to us, but they are allowing employers that do pay opt-out compensations a higher amount. They also removed HSA and HRA contribution limits. Right now, we contribute the deductible into an HSA or HRA for our employees. And then they've also changed some language on allowing out-of-state domestic partners. That's a very high overview of what the changes were made. The stuff on the right, again, is specific to our high deductible health plan. These are our selections that we currently have for 2026. I'm not proposing any changes to vision, dental, life, disability, your volunteer, additional plans, or pre-tax features. And the Regents high deductible health plan will still remain an option for employees. Nothing is changing there. The elections that we have in 2026 will be the same things that we elect in 2027. The proposal that I'm suggesting is Surest, which is, again, the copay option that's administered by Surest, but it's self-insured through CIS, similar to our high deductible health plan, self-insured through CIS, administered by Regents. You guys have that full renewal document, page 17, provides all of the options for the employees to review. Again, I'm not here to discuss with you guys like the individual aspects of each plan. I'm just here to say, if we wanted to offer a second option, this is the option that we should look at offering. And then the employees, if we do add it, we would have an in-person rep come out in September where we would have an in-person meeting so that they could then go over furthermore what Surest offers. They'll have a bunch of documentation to review prior to open enrollment. And then, of course, they make that decision on how they would like to enroll, whether they want to do a copay option or a high deductible health plan. That's going to be very relevant to each employee. So I'm solely doing cost comparison for you guys and what it would mean to the county. The employees would be required to do their own research to see if this would be a good fit for their family and where they're at in life. This is just, I can show you guys the demo website. It's very interactive and user friendly. It's basically just a map. So you're able to see upfront what your copay is going to be before you go to a doctor. So it'll tell you right there, you want to go to the chiropractor, it's a $5 copay. It'll show you right there on the screen. These doctors also have a very high performance rating, and you see that on every doctor that you select as well, which is why they're able to do, no deductibles here, is because the folks that they're allowing within their network have a lot of positive reviews, have very low, problems post-surgery. There are, again, a lot of other options for the copay plan that employees will just need to research to see how they want it to fit. This on the left-hand side just says how we can choose up to 3 medical plans. If we were to do 2 Regions plans, you'll see later in here that they have copay options. They just aren't as financially beneficial to the county, I guess, if we were to do the other copay option. You guys want to see the demo site, or you can review that at a later?
No.
This is just a cost comparison to our current plan, the high deductible health plan. This is your medical and vision is included together. Dental is separate, so I'm not showing that. But this is just, as you guys were told, we were expecting to see that 14% increase, which I think this is just a touch under 14% per month. So like right now in 2026, employee only is $765. In 2027, it'll be $873. Employee plus family, $2,245. In 2027, it'll be $2,500. Those are rates we've already discussed. So I'm just showing you guys again visually what that increase is going to look like for us in 2027. Here is the cost comparison between the high deductible plan and the copay, which is Surest. So the top is your 2027 amounts. Your bottom is your 2027 amounts for Surest. The very bottom is the annual difference. One thing that you will see, the premiums themselves are higher for Surest. However, you don't have that HSA, HRA contribution of the deductible. So that is one. So Regions is ultimately slightly higher than Surest solely because we also contribute that deductible into an HSA or HRA.
Yeah, so you have to factor that in.
So that annual difference that is a positive number would be a positive to the county. If an employee was to select Surest as their insurance, the annual cost to us would be $11,413, whereas if they did high deductible, it would be $12,042. Across the board, clearly that gets higher. But
Right.
So really it's not going to cost the county anything additional to allow this option for employees. One of the biggest things that they talked about and that our employees are impacted by is OHSU. As you guys know, OHSU is in negotiations currently with Regions to not be in their network. For now, we are guaranteed OHSU in our network through December 31st, 2026. After that, there is the chance that OHSU will not be a provider for Regions, which will heavily impact a lot of employees. So again, that's something the employees need to look into when they do open enrollment, but Surest, OHSU is within Surest's network. So that's a big thing right there. that folks may be interested in. At the meeting last week, they did say that employers are offering the plan, but maybe 150 employees have selected it, but that was the first year. This is the first year of Surest. So they're still building their network of providers, and expecting to see that more folks utilize their copay plan. Any questions about the costs on this screen? I think the next thing is just considering approval. I just would like to reiterate, we're not taking away anything from the employees, and that's as far as we have approached the union about it. And we're not in union negotiations, but since it's above and beyond what we currently offer and we're not trying to change anything that's offered to the union, they're okay with us adding an additional option. Employees like options. Again, it's no negative benefit to us if they did choose Surest over Regents. But I just need to know what you guys think before I do our request for coverage.
I don't think there's a downside at all, and it gives people a choice. Do you have any thoughts?
No. Options.
All right, so we just need a motion to approve the Surest copay option. How should we word that?
Move to approve the addition to Surest for our CIS 2027 request for coverage, something along those lines.
May they so move? Did you hear what she said? To approve?
The addition of the Surest copay option to the 2027 CIS request for coverage.
Okay, okay. So, Commissioner Watkins moved. Yeah.
I'll second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion regarding this? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. So we've added Surest to our 2027 request for coverage. Thank you very much. Thank you. Motion carries. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have 7.3, consider approval of broadband equity access and deployment BEAD program grant agreement. Do we have Nick Green on? Yep. Hi, Nick.
Good morning. How are you?
Hi. We had to wait a little bit.
That's okay.
Sorry. A lot going on today. So go ahead and tell us about the grant.
I feel like we should almost have like a moment to celebrate. You guys have been hunting this funding for 4 years now. But we're finally there. So this is a fully negotiated contract with the Oregon Broadband Office and Business Oregon. It provides just over 5.5 million in grant funding with a 25% match on top from the county. Your engineer and me as your project manager are already under contract, and I've prepared the first disbursement request, which is going to count all of your prior expenditures on design toward your match. So essentially, we'll be able to start claiming the 75% grant funds on your first two milestones as soon as this agreement has been countersigned by Business Oregon, and they've opened up the reimbursement portal. So at this point, our next steps would be for the county court to approve the agreement. There's two areas where Judge Patno needs to sign it. And then we'll start preparing the reimbursement request, and we'll send a copy of the fully executed contract to the bonding company so that they can get a performance bond issued. That's the requirement. The last requirement we need to have before we can submit a reimbursement request. I've read through all the stipulations. We've met everything that they're requiring. The one unfortunate aspect is in Exhibit G, which is the insurance. This was written for primarily internet service providers. So your CIS coverage exceeds these limits in most areas, but you do not have a specific call out for pollution. I tried to get the broadband office to back down on that requirement or let us pass it through to the general contractor, which we're going to do anyway. but they're insisting on the recipient holding pollution insurance. I tried logic and suggested that I couldn't see a scenario where Judge Patnode gets out there and creates a pollution event in the course of construction. They didn't buy that. So essentially what's going to happen is we're going to need to work with your broker to to buy a supplemental pollution policy. 75% of that cost would be reimbursed through the grant, 25% would be under your match. I don't anticipate it is going to be very expensive. It's just inefficient and unnecessary, but they're requiring it. So
Okay.
that was the one piece of the contract that I was a little bit disappointed they wouldn't waive, but otherwise, you've met all the other criteria.
Okay.
Don't wait on that, or just go ahead.
Mhm.
Do we need to?
So you're recommending we proceed and then we'll obtain the insurance when we
Yeah,
need it.
the insurance company would want to see a copy of the signed agreement by both
Okay.
parties before they issue.
Got it.
I'm just making you aware that that was, it's going to be an added cost that wasn't in the budget, but I don't think it will be significant.
Okay. Commissioner Hopkins, did you have any questions?
No,
Okay.
so this is what we need to approve, this grant agreement.
Yeah, so we're,
I move to approve the Broadband Equity Access and Development Deployment BEAD Program Grant Agreement and to authorize Judge Patnode to execute it.
I'll second the motion.
it's been moved and seconded to approve the BEAD program grant agreement. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, thank you, Nick.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You're doing a great job. It's a lot of work.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, okay, thank you. All right, 7.4, discuss employee handbook status.
Well, I can tell you.
Okay.
that, we finally got a red line strike out handbook back from our legal counsel. But because the committee that worked on the original changes hasn't met for months now, Brooklyn and I were talking about getting together and going over everything that the attorney suggested before presenting it to the county court for discussion.
Okay, there was a pretty good significant period of time legal counsel was looking at it, so it delayed, but it is still moving forward.
Yes.
And
Please,
okay.
next- Probably not this month, but hopefully in August, you'll see it on the agenda.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to get everybody back together that was on that committee. That's good.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Will that go out to the electeds to review as well?
oh, yeah, sure. Mhm. Yeah. Make a note of that. Consider approval of agreement with Connie United Church of Christ for use of facility. This is where Millside currently is, and we're transitioning it to the potential use of the event center. It just hasn't happened yet. This lease can be terminated. So we don't have to commit to an entire year if something changed, but it is up. It is still currently being used for Millside. So you have any questions about that?
Right.
Like
Oh,
450?
yeah,
Okay,
right, yeah, we're 400 to 450, yeah. I'll move to approve the agreement with the Connie United Church of Christ for use of facility as presented.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, we have a fiscal year 26 capital investment grant extension request from Gilliam SWCD that we will need to consider for approval. And
Still trying to get equipment or something.
yeah, let's see.
I can provide a little bit of info there. Nori reached out to me and some of the producers that they're working with, landowners that they're working with there, they are just still making their decision about, what products they want. And it's a big decision. So I think they're just looking for a little bit more time to help those landowners make the decision that they're hoping for. So they're just asking for that 6-month extension through the end of the year.
Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the extension request for Gilliam SWCD fiscal year 26 capital investment grant to December 31st, 2026.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Right, so we have two right-of-way agreements, first of which is 7.7, consider approval of right-of-way agreement with Lightworks Fiber. And information's in your packet, and there is a briefing.
Questions?
It's in the existing
Conduit.
Zayo conduit.
Yeah.
Where is Smith Road? Smith Road?
Oh, I was
Used to
looking.
Smith.
This one,
There are two roads listed on that one, Smith and
Well, and down below it has Carson Road, Flat Road, Wolf Hollow, and Jaeger Road in Monahan. But I was just wondering up there, it says faults along McNabb Lane and Smith Road.
Smith Road's what goes into Morrow County, I think, Wolf Hollow,
okay,
Ridge Road. They're very often.
So I always thought they were gonna work on that right of ways agreement.
So actually, Jolie just got 3 copies from some different counties. Hopefully maybe I can bring something to the next meeting. And I know, speaking to one local judge, he removed the roadmaster from signing off and put the judge down to sign off on it. But anyway,
But these have both, right?
yes, yeah.
I don't have a problem with the roadmaster signing off, so.
No, it's fine.
okay, do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve the right of way from Lightworks Fiber and Consulting as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the right-of-way agreement. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And the next right-of-way agreement is Rally Networks to install telephone cable lines. Is there any questions about this one?
Same.
Airport Road, Cottonwood Lane. They're having a heck of a time digging out there on Highway 19.
Is it the basalt rock?
Yeah,
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Motion.
I'll move to approve the right of way from Rally Networks as presented.
second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the right of Rally Networks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Right. That concludes our regular business. We have, next meeting is July 15th at 10 o'clock. Judge and commissioner comments. What do you have?
I just had a CAPECO meeting last week. And seems like a lot of their meetings are spent talking about housing in Umatilla County, so. But they do have those 2 new members from Fossil, and I think they've been pretty active in getting money for the Wheeler County residents,
Oh, good.
which hopefully, Sabrina has had luck in doing that as well.
Okay.
June 23rd, Dewey, Jolie, and myself met with Andy Lindsay, and I just got him to forward the information on to me that he presented to us. I got it to Anya. I don't know if you got it in email, but it's the latest update, and I'm a little upset, to say the least. We have on that Cedar Springs Road proposal project. There's 4 different landowners. Thought we were just doing with one. I thought it was just one, possibly with Oregon Waste, but there's some the very west end, some UP property where the proposed road is going, and then we have another one.
That help pass that where that little spur is
Yep.
when it goes clear
Yeah.
out there.
The end of the,
Yes, and Dewey was concerned that if we did not get that, we would have to go west quite a bit, and possibly Mr. Hillsapple would not want to go that far. Jolie just showed me a thing this morning. She's in touch with UP, and I have a meeting scheduled Monday with Alan Anderson and Dewey to go over the question of some of the properties. I don't see a problem with some of the property along the tracks where the road's going with Oregon Waste.
this could just be like when we all purchase the right of way from you.
Yeah, my concern is UP is getting the road across their stretch of property where the road was proposed. And then there's a small chunk of I believe it was Kleinbach.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that
a
was,
little triangular right there,
that
the
was a
first
mistake.
crossing kind of. I don't know, but anyway,
something in a legal description that didn't get included in something that should have been included long ago.
you can have Michelle.
So down closer to like where the industrial park is.
It's just right past the first crossing, railroad crossing, they got Cedar Springs. Yeah, it's a small. Michelle said it's not even big enough. The taxes are $2.34. And somebody keeps paying them.
That's where gross numbers.
Yeah, it's before that though. It's just right past the tracks.
So was it an error when they did the land sale?
I don't know, somehow it's,
Time.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
The
Right.
legal description could have been, because it should have been part of that, the field and everything that.
you would have thought. Anyway, somehow it got missed, but I don't think that'll be a problem. I'm just concerned about UP crossing, and I'm gonna meet with Alan Anderson, like I say, next Monday, Oregon Waste. And Chris and Andy, we need that physical description we need to get this tied up. He had some concerns also. On the permits, we were hoping to maybe, get ready to possibly do some work. The roadmaster wants to come from the west side, go east. But Andy's thinking that we might not be able to do anything until everything is signed off. Possibly. I was thinking we could maybe get it approved. Hey, we agree, we're working with this plan, we're gonna do everything you want us to do. Can we work here and start? And anyway, he kind of he's not sure. But that's something we might need to try to get some help with because of the time constraints. And all his material is like it that way, and he wants to go this way. So it was kind of an upsetting meeting, to say the least. He is going to update the court on the 15th, Andy, where we're at, and I'm trying to, hey, this is really important, so we need to keep this moving. June 23rd, met with EDP Marissa Johnson about a possible project. Still working on some of the ODOT, some signage possibly for littering. Anthony was gonna look at some cameras still for me. Just to give you a little heads up, ODOT, I'm gonna try to get the email too from the supervisor, but somebody dumped a bunch of tires, I believe at Blaylock. Not too long ago, they had to go pick them up. So, and then of course, we had some possible, how do you say that, questionable fires yesterday. One was at the viewpoint there, which could have been bad coming into Arlington on the west side. Anyway, I just want to mention a couple of the renewable contracts. Mortensen sent 2 water trucks. Cupertino, Hodge, Western sent 2 water trucks, and then those are on standby. And I assume they're just working with the incident command or whatever. They show up. I don't know who's. I think they just show up and go, "What do you want us to do?" But anyway, that's pretty good support.
I also heard that Mortensen was the first to respond to that crash. The truck that tipped over.
Oh,
No.
did you hear about that one?
Okay.
Yeah.
No?
I called 911.
Okay.
They came right after. There was a guy right before me in a little maroon colored SUV that got there.
Yeah.
I was right behind that guy.
Yeah, they sent their paramedic maybe. I don't know. I heard that they were helpful. So that's good.
Oh, yeah, because they made me move the truck out of the way.
Yeah.
So they said, whose truck? Get it out of the
Yeah.
way. So I left. But yeah, I called. It's like there's no cell signal there, but
Yeah.
I could call and it went to the satellite. So
I have a road department meeting 9th, crew meeting the 10th, and I wanted to mention Rob, Terry, and I last month we visited a facility in Battleground, Washington, Wolf Industries. They do modular homes, and we were there about 3 hours. I thought it would be a quick tour. You know, the guy's not really interested, and I was trying to, like I say, trying to catch up with Rob before the meeting, but we couldn't catch up. But explained our housing and shortages, and thought, you know, hey, this might be a good fit. And the one of the owners was pretty excited about looking into doing more, trying to get something going. And like I say, I was just there for the tour. You know, Rob explained Pioneers, what they do, you know, and I think he wants to become Rob's best friend. He was pretty excited with some of the interest rate and the program they have.
Oh,
So
good.
and the thing about it was pretty interesting is they roll it off there in like five days, part of the section of whatever they were building. And it's pretty impressive.
So construction would be quick.
And they do everything. He's got his own planner, his own permit guy. They don't sub anything. They move it, they set it, they do their foundation. So there's no, well, we're waiting for this guy. He's got his guys just boom, boom, boom.
Wow.
So it's pretty impressive. But
Good,
anyway,
that's good. That's
so
positive.
hopefully, like I say, we get 1 or 2. I mean, that's a win, I guess.
So did you have anything?
No.
So that rolls into, I was contacted by Senator Nash's office. They're going to do a rural housing tour to gear up for the legislature, and they're getting their information together for hopefully it will end up leading to some rural housing funding. It's going to be in August. I have a Zoom call this afternoon with Isaac Insco from Senator Nash's office, Senator Nash, and the whole plan. How are we going to? It's going to be multiple counties, but they want to visit Condon, Arlington. They want to. I believe it's going to just go up the freeway virtually. I do think Umatilla will allow Union, those counties as well. So that's positive, and I think that's very good. I had a very good positive meeting with Gib Wilkins, City of Condon, regarding housing. Where are we going with the study? They're going to proceed on their own with their study. It was the last I heard, so they want to do housing study, but it isn't going to be countywide because Arlington isn't interested. So it was good to brainstorm with him about housing in general. I went to the AOC, Association of Oregon Counties Legislative Retreat, the last 3 days in Sisters, and that was good, outlining their legislative priorities. So that's, besides regular work, that's what they're doing.
One question, the facility that they had in Arlington, the Umatilla, is
Mhm.
taken over. Is that complete? We heard more on that.
Oh, no.
Even to, was it even to
You
the
missed on
housing?
the housing authority. Yeah.
I can send you the guy's name.
Oh, okay,
Roger Condi, was that it?
And you meant like contact.
Okay,
okay, thank you.
yeah. Right,
They just have some property that's
okay,
behind there. That's
yeah.
I was trying to find out if maybe they have had time to think about it or,
To see if that.
yeah, but it's R2 zone for
Oh,
multi-dwelling.
okay.
And that's what I think that we could use at both ends, so.
Mhm.
So,
I
yeah.
looked at that piece, it has, you know, it would take some excavating, right? Cause it's kind of a hillside, but it's still could be done behind Columbia Hills Manor.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, is there anything else? Okay, Arlington's our next meeting, July 15th. Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.